An excerpt from the letters of Lieutenant Samnael Evergrace, aide-de-camp to Commander Azar, born of Draknor, leader of the Constant Legion. How do you kill a never? Easy. Shoot it until it stops moving. How do you make a never? Well, I'm no broken, but that seems a little bit harder. See, whatever makes a person, you gotta find a way to get rid of that and replace it with whatever makes a never a never. Maybe that's just a dead body lying around. Dead body doesn't have a whole lot of personhood in it. But maybe you want something more complicated than just a shambling corpse. Something with instincts, perception, guile. Something that can mislead others, go in secret, attack when least expected. For that, you gotta get creative. You take a person, either still living or a corpse with its soul jammed back inside of it. You sit them down in front of one of the Inquisitors, those scary folks like the Commander saw way back when, and they torture you. They make you bleed and burn, all the while telling you no one's coming, that you're trapped here, that there is no hope, that your story is over. Maybe the person resists, decides to keep fighting, but Inquisitors got more time than people do. They can wait a body out, make him cry and moan and wail, make him forget there was ever any world before the pain. And then, all of a sudden, it doesn't hurt like it used to. You don't cry quite so much. You don't hate when the torture arrives. You crave the break from the quiet. The Inquisitor becomes the only warmth you get in your world of pain. Becomes a refuge. They sculpt you into something new, something better, something complete. Once they worm their way in, once they make a person not a person anymore, you don't just have a never on your hands. You've got something a lot worse. A true believer. So let's go through the end of this crossroads before we do anything else. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So the current crossroads is Gavin's. Gavin, will you read the decision that the Legion is facing?
Will the Legion allow its members to leave if they wish?
Devin, would you please read the if yes?
At least one full squad will depart. We will replace the Legion members we lose with starved rookies. If yes, more than rookies will leave. And if yes, Legionnaire veterans will bolster the refugees' ranks.
Awesome. Matthew, would you please read the if no list?
Sure. If no, there will be unrest in the city based on unfulfilled needs. From Gavin. preference from Kale. Those sympathetic to the Eyes of Smoke will join Safina's militia anyway, from Gavin. The command staff for the Legion as we know it will suffer losses, from Weigraf. And the Legion will not suffer shortage of resources, from Brendan, separate from Weigraf.
Yes. Sweat drop. Okay. So, powers. Make a decision. I believe we have 2 powers, correct?
Yep.
We have Azar, Board of Draknor, and Dorado the Adamant.
How do we want to vote?
Uh,
Put it in general?
Yeah, why don't you both post yes or no in general, and then we'll hit enter at the same time. Does that seem fair?
Makes work for me.
Works for me.
Okay.
Got my answer.
Okay. So do we just count it down?
Sure.
Sure.
3,
Okay.
2.
Oh,
Nope.
that's cutting.
I'll
Oh,
count.
Go.
All right. 3, 2, 1. Vote. Both vote yes.
Easy.
Yeah.
Peace and harmony. Legion members are allowed to leave if they wish. Okay. So, what does it look like for Dorado and Azar to come together in this decision?
Earlier, Azar had the order about if you wanted to leave, you had to talk to the whole staff,
Uh-huh.
which included Azar and Dorado.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think this is probably just like, Kris, correct me if this like doesn't sound like it works for you. But I think this was like, this sort of council was brought together as a like exploratory thing of let's figure out who all is leaving. Let's figure out like what that would mean and things like that. And I think we basically come to the conclusion like, yeah, we can afford to let some people leave here. This is an opportunity for people to go their separate ways, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And maybe it's like, I imagine for some Legionnaires, just that, like, if you want to leave, you got to talk to, effectively all of your bosses first. Like, that's intimidating as shit. But, like, at some point, I think at least Dorado might be as, like, this is less a, like, well, your reason for leaving isn't good enough, so no, you can't go. Think of it more as, like, we want to know, like, where people are going, if that's, like, so we can keep in touch, like, find out where we'll know people in the city. It's about like keeping in touch with people and building a network. Like, are you staying in the city? Are you going somewhere else? Where? With who? Like, how far? Do you need stuff? Do we need stuff? Like, being able to set people up to go safely, or like if someone is going somewhere in particular, oh, these other people are going that way. Travel with that, like safety in numbers, please.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That is very much, Kris, the reason why Azar set this up in the first place, is to know where are people going to be.
Okay. Perspectives, of which we have both Safina and Weigraf. Show the consequences. Tell us whether each of your predictions on the winning side of the crossroads comes true or not. Describe your character seeing what happens.
Wait, is Safina Gavin's?
Oh, I went ahead and swapped
Okay.
it.
Okay.
So technically this is still Lark, but
Okay.
it works the same way for this.
Okay. So I'm happy for you to step into either role as appropriate. But yeah, Gavin and I have predictions. Of course, as with anything, people can try to fight or fix these. So, Weigraf's first prediction, at least one full squad will depart. I think that happens.
Yep.
Who do we think leaves?
Which squads does like a whole squad leave together, or do we think that like enough people to make up a squad goes? Because there's been a lot of like shifting people around in the squads, right? Like the Marshal did that
There has.
purposefully so that people wouldn't get too attached to each other. But like, I wonder if, I don't know, some group of people still has enough cohesion to like be like, these ones, we're all going.
We could let some named characters go, but we have full squads of unnamed rookies, like the Shattered Lions and the Ghost Owls and the Silver Stags.
Was it Rahel that we said wanted to leave?
Yeah, Rachel had wanted to go with Udet, I think.
What were you saying, Matthew?
Sounds familiar. Sorry.
Well, we just had Masha get married.
Yes.
So this would be a potentially time for Masha to leave. Right?
Yep, I think so.
Settle down. That makes sense to me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Masha married one of the refugees.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I think to answer Chris's question, I think this is just a combination of 5 people.
Solid.
Masha is one. Rahel is another, who I think is going to go with Yudet.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have candidates to propose?
2 named characters feels like the right amount, I think.
I think that's fair. There's still more damage to be done.
Yeah, this is only the first one.
Yep.
I mean,
yeah. Okay, and three more unnamed rookies. Gavin, we will replace the Legion members we lose with starved rookies.
Yeah. I think mechanically this is like we can figure this out, but I think mechanically they start with fewer stats or something.
Yeah, okay.
Mm-hmm.
Or they start with stress because starved, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's fixable.
Oh, that's good. I didn't do the thing which I should have done, which is put it on screen. Like we said that happens, that people leave. I think there's maybe this is even like the same scene because we've seen people going out and recruiting. We've seen the drive and people signing up. Is there just like a day that there's not like a ceremony, there's not a lot of circumstance, there's just a bunch of new faces mustered at the training ground, and there's other people who are giving out hugs and setting off into the city?
I think Aoife's a little bummed, but she lets Rahel go. And she like sneaks into her bag, like imagine like a branch that has like sort of perfectly split into 2 even smaller branches, and then you like split it in half like a wishbone.
That's really good.
So he basically just snuck a stick into her bag, but it's important to her people.
Oh, that's so romantic. Does Rahel try one last time to try and get Aoife to come with?
I think so, and I think they might have argued about it, but I think they didn't leave on a bad note, at least. But I don't think they could agree on the point of whether to stay or leave. Aoife has a little bit of I need to see this through energy with the Legion, and I don't know. The way I played her in the bar, she was like ready to fucking go. Like she wants to have that fucking battle.
Totally. Well, we're at, if yes, more than rookies will leave.
Did this already happen with Lance, or do we think that there's something else going on?
I mean, Rahel was a soldier.
That's true.
Rahel was a soldier.
I assume this means more beyond her.
I thought this implied like a specialist leaving.
I definitely had in mind a specialist. But
it did sound like that.
Yeah.
Could be Lance. Lance makes sense.
I mean,
Lance sort of got forced out.
Lance, by virtue of nothing else than a devil's bargain, is already kind of like off the table.
Okay.
Alrighty.
Lance is a spy. This is somebody who's leaving the Legion.
Sure.
I mean, sure, but like, we still got at least one more crossroad left. People could come back before we get back into Band of Blades.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Though I'm a little bit unsure about so Lance kind of told Weigraf to go fuck himself, and then Azar kind of forced him. I'm like trying to think where he's at.
I don't think it was a force. We've talked about Lance as being on board with the coup, right? And so I think that this was pitched to Lance as this is temporary, right? You will take this position because it's going to help us achieve our goals, but this is not going to be forever.
Is it Kai?
Go ahead.
Kaio and Obeek then?
Yeah, I could see that though.
Like they could go with the
I could go with Udet and them, yeah.
Here's my pitch. I think, given the opportunity, Nikolaj would try to get out.
Yeah, I was like, is this Nikolaj seeing like a chance and just like making a break for it?
Yeah, and I'd prefer a non like quote unquote main cast characters because I don't want Kris to have to lose Kaya here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, like I on the one hand I could see Kaio going, but on the other hand, like Kaio is kind of like, okay, at this point I am just here to like make sure that the people who matter to me stay alive, and I think there are more people in the Legion who they care about a lot than aren't at this point. Or yeah, like, you know, to go with Udet's crew, it's like there's some people who they're gonna know over there, like Rachel among them. But like Eva is here, Waloed is here, Nabane is here, Lark is here, etc. So
yeah.
Is Kaio privy to the like plan?
I mean, how much did Azar? Azar did tell them some of it, right?
Yeah. So this is sort of up to if Kaio expressed any interest in the rest of the plan.
Yeah, Kris, I'm not sure how that, like, I don't know how they feel about it, because I'm just like, I can't tell if Kaio is, I don't know that Kaio necessarily wants there to be an empire again, but like, right? Kaio is not like, huzzah, the empire lives once more, but like, because I don't fucking care, it was in the mountains anyway. But like, might see like, okay, if Azar takes over, and then do we stay in Novara? Is that an easier thing to defend? Like knows that Azar at least cares about the people in the Legion, so in that respect, probably thinks that he wants these people to stay alive, especially if he pitched it as like, look, Weigraf's going to try to like send us out to go and fight the Broken, and that's going to get everybody killed. Doesn't want that to happen. I don't think she's necessarily like pro reforming the empire, but I'm not sure how much Kaio is like actually into the plan as much as just is going along with it because it seems like the best way they know to keep the people they want to stay alive.
Yeah.
I think that makes sense.
Then in that case, I don't think you know much more than a thing is happening.
Yeah, a thing is happening. Weigraf is going to try to get us all killed, and I'm trying to make that not happen. Yeah, that's what might be about the long and short of it. Like, I like when the people I care about aren't killed. Great.
Love that.
But it does, like, the less I know, the easier this is to go along with.
Yep.
In which case, yeah, I think Nikolaj leaves.
Does Nikolaj like go through the, because like if people are leaving, I wonder if like Nikolaj goes through the whole like talks to all of the command staff, you know, kind of assuming like, you know, had that bond with Lark of just like, Lark could kill me at any time, I'm sure, so I just have to hope I don't give her reasons to. So probably like goes through the whole official thing so that it's like, they said I could go, please don't kill me.
Probably. And even then, probably going to be looking over his shoulder for a long time, I think.
One eye open when I'm sleeping.
Do we let him go?
Yeah, do they let him go and then just like kill him after?
Why would they kill him?
I don't know.
Why would you let him live?
Eyes of Smoke, Sophina. I
think it depends on where he goes, but
it's a liability.
But I don't think he goes to Sophina.
Yeah, not how he is at right now. And plus, Sophina is here.
Yeah.
She's in the estate.
Yeah,
that's true. But like that's what I mean.
You're just gonna trust that?
But like that's what I mean. If like the Marshal and Azar know that Nikolaj has secret tunnels under the city.
Yeah, we use those.
Yeah, but like, would they be like, oh yeah, I'm sure Nikolaj told us about all of those.
Here's
like Nikolaj could be Sophina's like connect in and out of the rest of the city, right? She can't go anywhere because she's stuck in the estate. He could bring her news back and forth, assuming that she's watched all the time and stuff like that. I'm like, yeah, do you just let that guy just rock? You just gonna let him like chill?
I think that
Marshall's like, we cannot let him go alive.
So it sounds like this is a fight or fix.
Sure.
Declare what you want to fight or fix and who made it. Describe what you do to overcome it.
I want to fight or fix Nikolaj leaving. Specifically. Other people could leave, I guess.
So
we might have to fight or fix individually based on who else leaves.
To be clear, preventing him from leaving, not killing him after he has been allowed to leave. He's told other people get to leave. You don't get to leave.
Okay, so describe what you do to overcome it. The more your approach makes sense, the more likely you are to succeed. Oh, so I give you one option, and then you give me two options back.
Well, you give me an option, and then I reply with one of the three things. Either, yes, I accept yours, yes, but, or yes, if. And I give you a different option.
Okay. Nikolaj isn't allowed to leave, actually. And I don't know, Marshall can say this if Azar wants to keep his image or whatever. Nikolaj is too good of an asset to just let go. Maybe just makes it as clear as possible to Nikolaj. This order is true for everyone except you and the other Eyes of Smoke person.
Carla?
Carla.
She's already gone. I'm pretty sure she left at some point during the last crossroad.
She is already gone.
Like she was with the other Legion anyway, and then kind of got folded in and then disappeared at some point.
She did not ask to leave. She just disappeared one day.
Just deep breaths. Deep, angry breaths.
It's like Kaio telling Marshall that.
It's like, oh no, she's gone.
She gone.
She's been gone for a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gotta put Lark on that. Nikolaj, if you leave the Legion, you will not survive. I guarantee it. I think Kris should also get in on this.
Yeah, I'm wondering, is Nikolaj allowed? Right? Like, I feel like Nikolaj is like, knows what Marshall means, but like wants that said out loud. Like, do you doubt my survival skills, or do you know of a direct, explicit threat against me? I've survived in tough situations before, as other Legionnaires are aware, as I'm sure you've been made aware of in reports and briefings and.
All right. Well, let me put it this way, Augur. If you leave the Legion, I will have you killed.
Who else is there when that's said? Is this just Marshall and Nikolaj?
I think I meant it when I said Kaio was probably there. I think Samnael is there. And I think at that, Samnael steps forward, sort of hands up in sort of a pose of like, all right, okay. Deep breaths. Calm down. No one needs to say they're going to have someone assassinated, drawn and quartered, hung from the tallest tower in the city. No one needs to say those things. What we are saying, Augur, Legionnaire, is that there's a lot out there. I understand that you're someone who worries, who stays up at night, who feels the need to look over their shoulder. What I want to ask you is, would you rather keep running, or would you feel better laying your head down at night knowing that you're in a position to do something about it? And my counter proposal is, yes, Nikolaj stays with the Legion if Nikolaj becomes spymaster.
Who's gonna play spymaster? Oh God.
We get there when we get there.
I mean, how do you feel about this, Kris?
That's definitely interesting.
Would Nikolaj say yes to this?
I think he might. This is a dude who loves to know things, all of the secrets. That's kind of been his main motivating factor. Just like, how do I A, stay alive, B, get to know all the stuff?
Mm-hmm.
And also, this technically would put him at the same level of hierarchy as Marshall, which might make him feel a little more like, okay, if you can tell people to kill me, I can tell people to kill you right back.
Uh-huh.
Oh, buddy.
You know, it'll take some time to get someone who would actually listen to him that way, but technically, can call the shots.
Just because we're the same rank doesn't mean we hold the same power, but go on.
You can accept what they say, give up, or propose something else and try to negotiate. Gavin.
Yeah. like, Marshall thinks Nikolaj is a great asset. And that's why losing that asset would be really terrible. If a promotion is in order, Nikolaj, you've certainly earned it.
Samnael nods, looks at Nikolaj, winks, leaves the tent. Okay. Nikolaj stays with the Legion, is no longer a specialist, but is now the spymaster. Last prediction. If yes, Legionnaire veterans will bolster the refugees' ranks.
What did that mean again?
That means that there's tension in the city to do with the refugees. Posters have gone up throughout the city saying "Purge the despair," pretty clearly blaming the refugees for a lot of the troubles that the city is facing. And I think a number of these people that left the Legion join up with the refugees to protect them. Is there someone in particular that would also leave to do that? Or that Azar would specifically say, hey, this is your job now. Looking at soldiers.
Thar?
Thar.
Oh,
Hey,
dear.
you need to learn how to set your own goals.
You wanna lead people? All right, go lead people.
Here's a splinter cell that you're in charge of.
Oh my god.
Matthew, would Azar say something like that to Thar, Board of Draknor?
I don't know how well he knows Thar at this point.
That's a good point.
All right, well, who would the marshal recommend to...
I mean, if this recommendation, hold on, this recommendation comes from Lance,
Absolutely,
Yeah,
it does.
that makes sense.
my little buddy, my good pal,
Lance
Little
Jr.
Lance.
Yeah, little Lance.
Lance Jr.
No.
Thar's got this. Let me tell you, Commander. This kid, he's going places, and where he's going is to lead a splinter cell.
Does Lance actually-
Where he's going? Somewhere else.
Does Lance actually like Thar?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we've played
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it does feel like, it sees a lot of himself in Thar.
Yeah, I think
That's
we've
not
just-
always a good thing.
No. It's not a healthy relationship, but it is a positive one.
Well, Devin's in charge of Lance right now, so
Yes.
you tell us,
True.
Devin.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
I mean, I still think Lance is a character that has had many hands on him, on his narrative, so I don't want to make that decision by myself. But yeah, I do like the idea of him giving the recommendation. That's funny. I think the relationship maybe is like it's amicable, but like there's this like unspoken like don't you dare step to the throne kind of energy from Lance to Thar.
Absolutely.
I'm 5th Hokage, you're 6th Hokage.
Yeah.
I've described it
It is
before
fun.
as big 27-year-old giving 23-year-old life advice energy.
Yeah.
It's like the worst toxic workplace mentorship. Eh.
Is he taking a squad with him?
No, I think maybe one or two of the rookies that left will wind up working with him, but I think he is being
Okay.
dispatched.
Masha's
It's like-
probably in that group too.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I wonder if part of his job there is train them up. You got to teach them how to defend themselves.
I think so.
Tell them that Azar sent you.
Mhm.
Great. Good. Okay. Touchstone, say how you feel. Tell us how your character feels about everything that happened. That's how the people of the kingdom feel too. Describe your character seeing how the people react, then check or uncheck up to 2 crisis boxes to reflect that. So, as I recall, Kale had been feeling really the Legion needs to hang together right now.
And the more people split up, the smaller targets they are, the more those people can be turned to the forces of the Never, the bigger their army will get. That was kind of their chain of logic.
Totally.
I mean, yeah, I think Kale is stressed out. And I think the people are stressed out, but maybe for different reasons than Kale is.
Mm-hmm.
Kale is very worried about what's going to happen to the Legion. Is very worried about what's going to happen to the city. Is very worried about what's going to happen to all of these individual groups that are going off, like Thar and the refugees, and
right,
Udet and Rachel and the rest of them. And I think the people are stressed out because they're having to like say goodbye to people that they've been traveling with for months, and are, I guess similarly worried about each other's safety once they leave.
What does that do to Kale's sermons, so to speak?
I don't know. Kale likes listening to people's stories.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they at least give the chance to people that are leaving to kind of talk a little bit about themselves and where they plan on going and what their, hopes for the future are. And I think they just shut up and listen, even though they're not happy about it.
Does this advance crisis?
Yes, because one, this is the Legion breaking apart more.
Mm-hmm.
And two, I don't necessarily think Kale's logic was wrong in terms of how this could be a major danger to us in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we at crisis?
2 out of 6. Yep.
2 box.
I'm going to take it once. This isn't like catastrophic, but I think this is complicating to everybody's safety.
Cool.
Okay. Crossroads is finished. Then decide as a group whether you want to break in the action to let months or even years go by in the kingdom before your next crossroad.
30 years later. We're all
30 years later.
And my new character is...
Real quick. So the last thing we heard was roughly 10 days Udet is leaving. My suggestion is that we time out this next crossroad to end when she would leave. So my suggestion is we hop forward like maybe a day or two, so we're like a week out.
I like that.
Oh, I thought she was leaving at the end of this crossroad.
No, she said 10 days when we went during the last Udet visit scene.
Okay.
If you want to revamp that, we can.
No, that's fine.
Yeah. I'm okay with that.
Because it feels like some time has to pass, just because like there's a lot of change that has just happened.
Sure. I have news of what happens that day, which is that the hexed that are rumored to be within the city strike. There are a number of spontaneous incidents where someone who is acting weird or worse seem to be acting really normally sets off an incendiary device or throws open a portcullis or pulls a support and knocks something over, and people die. In all of these cases, there are a lot of sudden explosive violence that is ended relatively quickly once people realize there's a threat. In some cases, I think the Hexed, sacrifices themselves in order to do the damage that is done. There's not an ongoing fight, but there is a lot of sudden spontaneous trauma in the streets, and people don't know what's going to happen next. I think one of our locations gets maybe not destroyed. Well, I don't know. I guess it'll depend on the scale of the thing. But I think one of our locations gets hit. I don't know which one, but I have a D10 right here, and I'm going to roll it.
Let's see a 5.
If only. 2, the Senate.
Oh,
Oh my god.
oh boy.
What does a hex do to damage the Senate?
We saw already. I have a suggestion, but Gavin would have to okay it. We saw already Sofina's aid. What if Sofina's aid reveals a text tattoo or a hex tattoo? And like, what if they're like a living bomb?
I like this living bomb idea.
Okay, fair.
They
different character though.
They could
I
also
think it should be a different character.
Okay.
Fair.
What if it's
Go ahead.
like we've seen, that people from the public are allowed into the building while Senate is like
Sure.
in session? What if like one of those people comes in and just sort of like
Jumps off the balcony?
oh, that's so sick, jumps into the balcony, and then like a bunch of Whispers, like some of Whisper's idols, like they were singing to do their ritual. Like what if this person just like jumps off the balcony screaming and everyone's like, what the hell does that mean? And then just like, and it's awful. Did that make any sense?
Yeah.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Okay, great. It was mostly noises. More noises than words.
Descriptive noises.
No.
Words are noises.
Damn. So just to clarify, was it a hex that dropped off? That jumped?
Yeah, a hex. So the balcony is where the people are, so they
Right.
can oversee the Senate.
Uh-huh.
Hex, pushed through the crowd, climbed over the railing, dropped splat onto the Senate floor. Boom. Bunch of senators dead. Bunch of people watching dead. Building was on fire for a while.
Uh-huh.
It's a similar fire that comes off of like chosen bodies, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it doesn't burn as eternal, but it burns hot.
Yeah. Stuff that shouldn't be burning is burning. I think Weigraf dies.
Oh shit.
Damn.
I
that
think
was easy.
I think he was caught in the blast.
He would be the closest person to Serikali. So if anybody wouldn't die, I would expect it to be him. Unless if you want him dead, like he could be giving, walking in the aisle, right? But if he was within hand's reach of Serikali, I feel like those people are alive.
I bet he wasn't for some reason.
Sure, fair.
I think there's commotion up front. Citizens trying to come in. People demanding to be heard. Normal people just scared and hungry and riled up. And Serikali steps forward. Not to clear the room, but to present herself as a wall. To make it clear that order will be maintained. Their requests will be heard as part of due process. And once she's there, once she's out of the way, a never up in the audience, up in the higher level viewing platforms that we've described, sees its chance. It steps onto the balcony and it leaps, just throwing itself off. Someone shrieks because they think this person's just throwing themselves to their death. And that makes all the senators look up. And Weigraf's eyes go wide and he sees the sigil carved on the hex's chest as it comes crashing towards the ground. And as it hits, there's a burst of noise and black fire. OATHSWORN is an actual play podcast created by
Devin Nelson.
Gavin Fregeau.
Kris Allison.
Matthew Guzdial.
and me, Brennan McLeod. All music for the show is created by Devin Nelson. Find it and more at devindecibel.bandcamp.com. Find a link to their music in any of the games that we have played in the podcast description. Follow us at OATHSWORN Pod on Twitter or OATHSWORN on co-host. If you like the show, please consider sharing it with a friend or leaving a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts. Until next time.